Yesterday marked the 10th anniversary of the Senate authorizing military force against Iraq, which started an illegal war with no end. A war costing us trillions of dollars and, even worse, the lives of thousands of Americans and at least 1 million Iraqis. Yet if you watched the vice presidential debate last night, a debate supposedly about foreign policy, you'd see that the Iraq war has become a distant memory. And it all serves as a reminder that we need to look outside the two-party system to hear the voices that haven't forgotten. Here to talk about why alternative leadership is needed, I'm joined now by Cindy Sheehan, a fierce anti-war activist, mother of a fallen Iraqi soldier, and vice presidential nominee of the Peace and Freedom Party. Cindy, awesome to have you on.
Hi, Abby. It's great to be on with you. And congratulations on your show. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you, Cindy. So I'm sure, I don't know if you did, but I caught the presidential debates last night, the vice presidential debates. The whole thing just felt like one giant campaign advertisement with them bickering with one another. What did you think about them, and what do you think was omitted that should have been addressed?
Well, I guess I probably should have watched them since I'm running for vice president, but I had other plans, and I'm planning on catching up later today on it because I do want to write a response that is credible and does have some substance. I did see some of the coverage and I saw some of the debate. It was mostly seemed like it was eye rolling and interrupting and, just a bunch of junior high tactics. So, you basically know if you've done this for a while that it's going to be just more of the same, and you can pretty much predict what's going to be happening.
Indeed, it is very predictable at this point. Cindy, so you're on the ticket as the Peace and Freedom vice presidential candidate for the presidential election.
Right.
Why does this country need to follow this particular vision?
Well, Peace and Freedom has been a valid party in California since 1967, 68. It grew out of the response against the Vietnam War, the protests, and then the response of the police state, who, of course, violently suppressed it. And the Peace and Freedom Party, so it's a party of peace. People ask me all the time, why don't we have education as a right? Why don't we have health care as a right? Why don't we have housing and healthy food and clean water and clean air as a right? Well, it's because trillions of dollars get sucked into the military-industrial complex, into the empire. So one of our main focus of the Peace and Freedom Party is ending empire, abolishing the CIA, abolishing all of these alphabet agencies that are for oppression and violence, and then using that money for human needs. I watched the presidential debate last week, and they kept on talking about entitlements. But in most countries, entitlements are called human rights. And so we need a party that puts human need above corporate greed.
Cindy, well said. We just recently had Jill Stein on and asked her about this, and I just want to get your take as well. What do you say to people who continue to vote for the lesser of two evils mentality, get trapped in that paradigm, and consider anything other than voting for one of the two establishment candidates who will perpetuate the system as a wasted vote?
Well, I think that, that's really easy. The two corporate parties, the Democrats, the Republicans, they're the party of Wall Street. They're the party of the war machine. They're the party of economic oppression and environmental devastation. So if you actually give your precious vote to one of those parties, you're supporting things that are anti-human. They don't own our votes. They don't earn our votes. And until we realize that nothing's going to change if we keep putting one of the candidates of the 1% back in office. And, we realize it's a system. We realize that the vote is essentially broken and corrupt in this country. So we realize that organizing outside the ballot box, organizing outside every 4 years in a presidential election is far more important than going in and voting for any candidate. So I really can't wait till the elections are over, and I hope we can get back down to business of organizing this grassroots peaceful revolution that we need to happen to overturn the system, because I'm afraid we're not going to break that habit of constantly voting for the evil A or evil B.
Yeah, I mean, the corporate coup d'etat is already in effect, Cindy, and it really is an illusion of choice at this point.
Yeah, 1876 really is when corporations were given human rights without responsibilities of citizenship. So it's been ingrained in our country since the beginning, and I don't think it'll be dislodged by either Romney or Obama. Obviously, Obama's already been president for years. He's expanded Bush's war on terror. He's expanded the corporate handouts and environmental destruction. So, and I'm not willing to give Romney a chance to either.
Yeah, Obama's now the drone king, as I like to coin him. But Cindy, let's go back in time a little bit. You were propped up as a symbol during the Bush administration from the progressive left and also the establishment media. And then when the media realized that you weren't going away, the Democratic Party got back into office with Obama. They started to marginalize you. They started to demonize you because they didn't see your narrative as fitting theirs anymore. How did you feel when you realized that essentially you were being used as a political pawn for the Democratic Party only when they needed you?
Well, you know, of course I saw it happening while it was happening, and I started to distance myself from the Democratic Party. And I'm a lifelong Democrat. I left the party in 2007. And when I left the party, so many people in the so-called peace movement started bashing me too and demonizing me. And so I realized at that point, we never even had that much of a anti-war movement when Bush was president. We had an anti-Bush movement. So since Obama has been president, since the Democrats took over Congress in 2007, when they were inaugurated as majority in the House, you know, it's been a very lonely protest. But you know what? The comrades and the colleagues that I still have in the struggle are ones that I know will be in it until things really do change. They're not fair weather friends. They're not fair weather anti-war activists. We're peace activists, and we're not going to stop. And I just hope that this stuff is concluded, and I can, you know, join Casey peacefully, knowing that my grandchildren will have a peaceful world that puts human needs, like I said, above corporate greed. So the people who are still in the movement are strong, and you know, we work every day, whether the media is covering us or not. A lot of right-wing people will email me and say, "Where have you been? You know, you're such a hypocrite. You protested when Obama was president. I mean, when Bush was president." I call Obama or Bush Obama a lot. And they're like, "So you were doing it when Bush was president. Where are you now?" Well, you know, I've had 2 peace camps in Washington, D.C. since Obama's been president. Very few people attended. No media coverage. I went to Martha's Vineyard the first year Obama was president to protest his vacation there, which I thought was, you know, massively inappropriate. And I haven't stopped. I've been arrested still in front of the White House. I had a stay-away order from the White House for 4 months. I couldn't go anywhere near it without going.
Just because the media is not reporting on it doesn't mean that it's not happening. You have not skipped a beat. I remember seeing you in San Diego right after Obama got elected, and you were just like, look, we shouldn't be surprised. He's been saying that he's going to do these things, escalate the Afghanistan war, take the, you know, drone bombings in Pakistan. I mean, you were right on point, Cindy. That's why I have a lot of respect for you, because you are a true advocate for peace, and you don't align yourself with a party like so many fair weather peace activists do. But Cindy, I wanted to segue into this. You know, we've seen Obama touting the Iraq war as over, touting the Osama bin Laden's death as pretty much his biggest victory, which is disgusting in itself to celebrate death. Why do people believe these things? I mean, we know that the war isn't over. There are still a lot of questions about bin Laden that were never provided any evidence for. Why does no one question it? They're repeated ad nauseum. Are we just supposed to appeal to authority here and just trust the establishment when they tell us these things?
Well, you know, of course not. And I got just roundly criticized and ridiculed for questioning the official story of the Osama bin Laden death, when we've been told he's been dead since 2001, 2003, 2007. And so I think as responsible citizens, we should question everything our government says, no matter who's in power and no matter who says it. And even if the Iraq War were over, that was a George Bush accomplishment, because they're the ones that had the status of force agreement with the Iraqi puppet government before Bush left office. But we both know that the violence continues, and we're still occupying Iraq. And even if Osama bin Laden were killed, the day they said he was, the way they said he was. That's not a campaign slogan. That's not something that people should have celebrated or choose to vote for Obama because of it. Even if it all happened, it went down the way it went down, he should have been captured. He should have been put on trial. It should have been transparent. And let's talk about Obama's assassination program, where at least three American citizens have been judged and executed on Obama's orders without a transparent trial. And I don't understand why people who have a conscience and people who care about humanity would even consider voting for somebody like that.
I love that you just brought up the interim agreement between Bush and the Iraqi administration, as you'd say, because people, congratulated Obama as ending the war when really Bush did have that agreement to end the war, even though we know tens of thousands of military contractors will be there. But Cindy,
Obama wanted to extend the war.
Yeah, Obama wanted to extend it. Yeah, he couldn't extend it.
With the Iraqi parliament. But so it's just a bunch. He's just a big fraud, just a big liar. But he's a politician.
Yeah, you can't expect anything more from a politician. Cindy, we're almost out of time, but I just wanted to say, yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of the Senate authorizing use of force against Iraq. Here we are 10 years later, trillions spent, over 1 million dead. Since that moment that Casey died, Cindy, your life changed forever. Do you feel, looking back, that there's been justice for Casey's death?
Oh my gosh, of course not. And that's one of the things that I seek. I seek justice for my son's death, for the lies and the profiteering that led to his death, but also the death of over 1 million Iraqis. And I think accountability would help bring peace to the world. If, a U.S. president and his regime knew that they were going to be held accountable for their actions, perhaps it would stop these horrible things from happening. There's been too much death and destruction and not enough justice or accountability. So, we'll keep working for that. And it's not just about Bush, it's about the system. It's about holding Obama accountable for tens of thousands of deaths in Libya and his drone bombings in Pakistan and Afghanistan and Yemen and Somalia. And, it's time that war profiteering needs to be held accountable like it used to be held accountable here in the United States. It used to be against the law to profit off of war.
Absolutely.
Now it's time.
Absolutely. Cindy, thank you so much for your courage, your activism. I look up to you a lot, and thank you for coming on. You're providing the alternative that people need. You are a true advocate for peace. Thank you, Cindy Sheehan. Cindy's right. We can't have justice without accountability, and we can't change the system if we keep looking to the system for change. True change can't come from the top. It never has, and it never will. It can only come from us, the people, the grassroots. It's time to break out of the two-party dictatorship and join the movement, because we have the ability to make change, but the solution has to start with you.